إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. We continue, inshallah ta'ala, with talking briefly and just some points of the foundation of our deen and the pillars of our iman, and still with the first pillar and mainly talking there about the four things that every Muslim should know. Two of them are things that we should implement in our life and belief and so on, and the other two things to be avoided, and it's all related to La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. When we say La ilaha illallah, that means we fulfill the tawheed, the oneness of worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the most perfect way, and we avoid what negates this, which is a shirk. And when we say Muhammadur Rasulullah, that means we follow the way of the Prophet ﷺ, we believe in him and all the implementation of this, versus al-bid'ah, or what negates this is when people would innovate in the deen of Islam, turn away from the way of the Prophet ﷺ. And we reached last night where we start talking about the Shahada, the second part of it, about the Prophet ﷺ, when we say Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. We bear witness that the Prophet ﷺ is the messenger of Allah. And as we talked about the tawheed of the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that means it's the oneness of worship and the oneness of lordship and all the different types, the oneness of the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the meaning of La ilaha illallah, there is no one worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The same thing, but with the perspective of al-ittiba' or following, we say that there is no one worthy of following except the Prophet ﷺ. The only one that is worthy of following, to be followed in the absolute sense, without no conditions whatsoever, is the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And other than the Prophet ﷺ, when they're being followed, they have to be followed with an evidence that this is the way of the Prophet ﷺ. So the aqidah, the part of the belief in the heart of every Muslim, that their goal is to follow the Prophet ﷺ in every major and minor issue in their life. They ask the people of knowledge if they don't have the knowledge, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered them, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And the people of knowledge, their job is to show the way of the Prophet ﷺ to the best of their ability. So they are never a barrier between the people and the Prophet ﷺ. They are not the ones that would care about followers and having their own ways and so on. The people of knowledge, they clear the way between the people and the Prophet ﷺ, so that the Muslim, when they believe, when they worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, halal, haram, everything, in their hearts, they might be, yes, they ask this alim, or they follow this alim, but in their heart, what they think about is this is the way of the Prophet ﷺ to the best of their ability. And they will understand that, yes, the alim might have a different opinion than another one, but this is what he did the best he can, so that when he would understand that there will be some differences of opinions and things that is valid to have differences of opinions, as even the Sahabah radiallahu anhum did. So, Ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah, and the need of humanity for messengers is such an important aspect and matter of belief. And as we said before, that human beings, we have to have this as a belief, and we have to teach people this way. That as human beings, we have no capacity to know what is right and what is wrong. We can be very smart by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to deal with how to build buildings and how to deal with money, of course with the dawabit, with the, making sure that it's halal and it's not haram. When it comes to, manufacturing things, agriculture, all of these things that benefits people in their physical life, mashallah, this is something that people can learn and they can benefit so much. And you can see human beings, by the will of Allah, they reach a very high level of knowledge, airspace and airplanes and amazing things that they can do by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is their capacity. But when it comes to know what is right and what is wrong, they have no capacity to know this, except by the wahy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are general things that is in the innate and the fitrah of every person. knowing that truthfulness is a good thing. Everybody would agree to that, whether they apply it or not, but all human beings, they like for people to be truthful with them, or honesty, or this or that. This is just general terms. But to get to know what is good and what is bad, what is permissible, what is not permissible, how to govern their life, how to live their life, how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what's the purpose of their life, the subject of what the wahy came with. If all human beings, they get together, the smartest than everyone, they would not be able to figure that out. Then we can see that clearly. People change all the time. It depends who is the one that is stronger, who has more influence, who has more wealth, who can manipulate others. Then they can change the concept and the perception of things according to what has been dictated to them. Right? And this is what even some of the meanings of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about مَكْرُ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ. But مَكْرُ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ إِذْ تَأْمُرُونَنَا أَن نَكْفُرَ بِاللَّهِ وَنَجْعَلَ لَهُ أَنْدَادًا. When the debate between the oppressed and the oppressors will be in the day of judgment, those who are oppressed, they would say to those who oppress them that it's the makr of al-layl wal-nar, it's the plot by day and night that you kept doing on us that made us disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course that would not benefit them, but this is how human beings, they change all the time, and it's they have no capacity to know what is right and what is wrong. That's why they are in need of the wahy, the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved His final revelation, the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So a part of our creed and aqidah is that we have to believe like this. We are in need. We do not know what is right and what is wrong till we get to know from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And if we don't spend the time to learn, or if we don't ask the people of knowledge, that means we do not know. But to say that we know just because we have a mind to think, this is not enough. When it comes to the deen of Islam, to the subject of the wahy. Otherwise, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send messengers? Why did He reveal books if human beings can figure that out on their own? So that means we have to humble ourselves to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to put that forward before anything else, before what we think, what our taste of things, and so on and so forth. And this is basically what we should do with Ashhadu Anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, that we are followers of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And as we mentioned before, the statement of Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah, when he made it very clear and summed up the meaning of this religion and our way of life, he said, وَجَدْتُ الْأَمْرَ الْإِتِّبَاعِ. I found that the matter, this religion, is nothing but al-ittiba', to follow the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And we should be very proud of this. Human beings, they tend to look down at someone to be a follower, right? But to be a follower of the man that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to be the final messenger to mankind, this is something that should make us so proud of this. And we should make sure that before anything we say, any step we take, any decisions we make, we should make sure that what is the way of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, what is the guidelines to do things, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His mercy, He made the matter easy for us. But we have to have this zeal, that we're always asking about the ways of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And you would find that there's nothing left whatsoever. Because as we said, since an Iman comprises the belief in the heart and the deeds done by the heart and the speech of the tongue and the physical actions, there is nothing left. So whether we are sitting or standing or in the masjid or at home or at work or in the streets or in the bus or in a car or whatever, or any relationship, whether it's the closest ones to us, a wife or a husband or children or relatives or parents, up and down, lineage-wise, those who passed away, those who are not even born yet, if they were to be born like children, the rights of the children starts from even before getting married. And those who we meet, whether they are co-workers, believers, disbelievers, enemies, friends, righteous Muslims, Muslim sinners, right? Every single thing in our life, you will find something in the deen of Islam, but we need to have the patience to learn. And we need to have the patience to also ask the people of knowledge. And that's why people are in need of this knowledge more than they need food and drink. And as a result of that, they are in need of the people of knowledge more than they need food and drink. As Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he said. Because how would they then do all of these things without ilm? If they don't do it with knowledge, they do it with ignorance, with jahl, because there's nothing in between. And when they do it out of ignorance, maybe they will be correct sometimes, and other times they won't be correct. but who can subject himself to ruin our life like this by living at a state of ignorance. Right? We have to make sure that we are on solid ground, that in the day of judgment, because we will be asked about everything, we have to prepare an answer. We did the best we can to follow the way of the Prophet ﷺ in all of our affairs. And in this subject, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, when this is general meaning is there, and when all Muslims would agree to this, but the real test is in our specific life, in our details of life. Are we really going to be sincere in following the way of the Prophet ﷺ? And we have to prepare ourselves, again as we said before, that we will be tested with regards to what we think is right, what the norms of the people are, what the environment that we live in, the different types of pressures that we might face in life, intellects, all kinds of things. When it opposes the clear way of the Prophet ﷺ, which one are we going to choose? Definitely the Muslim, he remembers that this is a covenant that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took from us, that we say Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, that means the Prophet ﷺ is the one to be followed. With having good expectations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it easy for us. The sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, or the way of the Prophet ﷺ, is wahy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a matter of belief. So it's not just some opinions of the Prophet ﷺ. No, this is wahy, and they call it shatr al-wahy, like half of the wahy. Not necessarily half in a physical aspect, but it means the wahy is Quran and Sunnah. The wahy that came to the Prophet ﷺ, as Hassan ibn Atiyah radiallahu anhu, he said that Jibreel alayhi salam كان ينزل بالسنة كما ينزل بالقرآن. He used to come down with the Sunnah the same way that he would come down with the Quran. He would come down with the Quran, that this is the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the miraculous words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Jibreel alayhi salam also would come down with the Sunnah to teach the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam matters of this deen. And the matter is very obvious. This is how we make our salah, this is the rulings of this deen. And the ulama, when they talk about this, they talk about the relationship between the Sunnah and the Quran. And this is a subject that is also important for us, especially when we're living at a time when people are having some of them doubts, that it's been mentioned a long time ago, especially by the Orientalists and all of these people. They can't find anything in the deen of Islam, so they would just spread some things that makes people, when they don't have the knowledge of the deen of Islam, might doubt some things with regards to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And they would say, for example, the Quran is enough, and so on and so forth. This is just clear falsehood, and as a matter of belief, which is consensus of the people of Ahl Sunnah, consensus, no differences of opinions whatsoever. Whoever denies the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ in its totality, he's a disbeliever. Right? Whoever says there's no such a thing, it's just nothing but the Quran and that's it, he's a disbeliever. Why? Because he has to deny the Quran, because the Quran would lead him to the Sunnah, as the many ayat in the Quran that talks about the obedience of Allah and the obedience of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and so on. So this is a matter of belief. And as we said in La ilaha illallah, that the only one to be worshipped is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the only one to be followed is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Sahabah radiallahu anhum, they understood this, and you probably heard it many times, many incidences where the Sahabah radiallahu anhum, their concern is to know, and that's it. They did not have any dispute in the situation of submission. Their concern is to know. They were so happy with the wahy to come down. This is something that brought joy in their life. When the wahy, when the revelation from Allah was coming down on them. To others, when people deal with the deen of Allah as burden, right? They might think, oh, the wahy is coming down, that means more orders, more things to be done, more things to be forbidden on us. For them, it was a great joy. Why? Because they would get to know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from them. And that's why they were so eager, and they would ask the Prophet ﷺ many things, because they want to make sure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with them. And they would ask the Prophet ﷺ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade them from asking the Prophet ﷺ when the wahy is still coming, so that things does not become obligatory on them. And it shows how virtuous they were. Right? يا الذين آمنوا لا تسألوا عن أشياء تبد لكم تسؤكم وإن تسألوا عنها حين ينزل القرآن وتبد لكم عفى الله عنه. this was during the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forbidding the believers from asking about things that there's still not knowledge about it from the wahy came down onto the Prophet ﷺ. That's why they said, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on the companions of Allah. They only asked the Prophet ﷺ something like 14 questions or something like this, which is the questions in the Quran. يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر يسألونك عن الماء. They ask you about the wine and gambling, the intoxications and gambling. They ask you about al-mahid, about the menses. يسألونك عن اليتامى. They ask you about the orphans, and so on. يسألونك ماذا أحل لهم. They ask you about what is permissible for them, and so on. So it's only counted questions that the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came down with the answers, because they were forbidden. But many people, they don't pay attention to this. Why would they want to ask? Because they had in their hearts this purity that they want to know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from them. And this is not something that has been cancelled afterwards. We should still continue to have this in our hearts. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us, individually and collectively. And when we have this sincerity, then we seek the knowledge, we ask the people of knowledge, and then we should submit to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us with the clear knowledge of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So, and also when they would be willing to do whatever it takes to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this level of following, that some of them, they would, as Uthman ibn Maryum radiallahu anhu, it was said that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it permissible for them to al-ikhsa, which is in English what, to castration, they would do it, right? Because they felt, that this might be taking them away from the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this is something to be understood in the right way. In the beginning, when the wahy is coming, and the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the people to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so on, people try to apply this the best of their ability, right? The Prophet ﷺ was correcting them, right? And some of them might tend to fall into extreme, right, in matters of ibadah and so on. And this is the beauty of the Sahabah. They were not like perfect human beings in the sense that they understood the matter immediately from the first way. No, the Prophet ﷺ was alive among them. He would correct them. But once they are corrected, they would immediately correct themselves. So they would return back from this extreme ambition sometimes. Like this, a person might think the subject of women in a man's life and the temptations and the fitan, and he feels like his heart is busy with these types of things, and he feels like if the Prophet ﷺ gives us the permission to do this act, so that they don't think about this matter whatsoever, so that they are busy with matters of worship. This is of course not permissible in the deen of Islam, and the Prophet ﷺ forbade them of this. But the point that we need to think and ponder over, what level of submission or the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala these people have, right? That they will be willing to do such a thing, if this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from them. So when it comes to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really wants from them, which is all good things, not bad things, not for them to suffer. It's forbidden for us to have the intentions to suffer. But if the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have some struggle in it, yes, we have to endure patience. But it's never a goal in the deen of Islam for people to physically suffer, or they think that this is what ibadah is all about. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not order us to do things or forbade us from things to make it difficult for us as a test. The test is not to make it difficult for us. The test is to make us good people that worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to avoid what is evil and to do what is good and so on. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one of his job is وَيُحِلُّ لَهُمُ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَيُحَرِّمُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْخَبَائِثَ, that he would make الطيبات, the pure, the clean, the good things halal for them, and he made the khaba'ith, the wicked and the evil haram for them. So anything that is halal is good, and it's pure, and it's blessed. And anything that is haram, there's no benefit in it whatsoever. And if a person says if, but my situation, but this or that, without thinking, with certainty, this is all wrong. Because there's nothing goodness whatsoever would come as a result of haram. There might be some immediate, it's not goodness, immediate desire or immediate taste of something good. But it's like when a person has the best dish ever, but there is poison in it. Yes, if he eats, he will taste wonderful, right? But then he will kill himself. Would he do that if he knows that it will kill him? He would never do that, and he would never say, well, because it tastes very good, I don't care if it kills me, as long as I enjoy these moments of the best food ever. This person is insane. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made the taklif, or the obligations, with our aql, with our ability to think, to make decisions of what's coming ahead. So it's not just about this immediate desire that we have, right? It's what the effect of this. And He created things in our life physically to make it clear so that nobody will have an excuse. Because no one with a sound mind will do this. So the same thing what the messengers came with, do this, what is good for you would lead you to what is good. What is evil might look like it's good, but it's like you have an example in your life, like the poison and so on. We don't need these examples, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His mercy, He made it easy for us, so that the person will be content. And this is what the Prophet ﷺ, when he gave us not just instructions, do this and not to do that, he even mentioned some things to give the comfort in the hearts of the believers. Like, for example, حُجِبَتْ النار بالشهوات, أو حجبت الجنة بالمكاره, وحجبت النار بالشهوات, right? Which means the Jannah has been concealed or covered by the makarih, by the dislikes, and comes from the word hijab, that means it's covered. And the hellfire is covered by what? By the desires. So that means what? If a person tries to look at the end of one's path to see the Jannah and the hellfire, right? If he wants to see, because we're like in a journey. If he wants to see the Jannah, he would not see the Jannah. He would see dislikes. What is the dislikes? Do this, do not do this. You have to live your life according to what is right and to the way the Prophet ﷺ. Human beings, they tend to be rebellious. They don't like to be following anyone, right? They like the fawda, the chaos, right? This is what human beings tend to be like this. So when they try to look at Jannah, they would find all of these orders and so on. But if they try to look at the hellfire, they would see the desires, and the immediate desires is to be fulfilled and to just follow your desires left and right. So that means if a person wants to enter Jannah, what should he do? He has to break this hijab, right? As they say, man hataka hijab al-jannah dakhala. So this hijab, this is a cover, like a curtain. Like for you to enter Jannah, you have to break this curtain and go in. So that means you have to go through the dislikes. There is no easy way, or for the desires wise, right? If a person wants to choose, it's not the easiest route, but if you want to just like animals or follow his desires, to him this might be the easiest route, but would lead him to the hellfire. He will go through the hellfire. And the everlasting misery is not the ease. The ease is to enter Jannah. Right? And the deen is ease. All of it is easy. But easy is not what we think of what easy is. The ease is for us to enter Jannah. This is what the real ease is. When a person dies and he receives the mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the real ease. And by the mercy of Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make it as difficult as people think. It's all in their perception of things. But when they do things, they would find the matter easy by the will of Allah. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we know this hadith, He said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Those who strive and struggle in the way, in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will guide them to His way. That means, it's not going to be from the beginning to the end, difficulty and dislikes and so on. It's not like this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful. He knows our weaknesses. So it might be in the beginning, yes. But then after some time, it becomes the norm. After a person would put the effort and the struggle, and that's for the sake of Allah, following the way the Prophet ﷺ. And this is something human beings can really say that this is true in all of their affairs. You know, the DC is very crowded, mashallah. This is my first time to be here. So I'm going after, Fajr to go to DC, right? And mashallah, the highways are packed. People, this morning I was talking to the children, you probably talked to that like that to your children many times about this. What makes people wake up that early and go and suffer, and this is everyday life for them, every day to be stuck in traffic like this, stop and go, stop and... Why? What's the fun in this? So that they will get some benefits, and so that they can drive the cars that are stuck with it in the traffic. And you look at the cars, and all expensive cars. What if a person will take the car away, but you can work next door, for example, right? Would they do this? Or it's the desire or the adornment of this life that you're driving a nice car, but you're ruining this car, going back and forth in the traffic, and they're giving you the check from with one hand and taking it from you the other hand, right? Or benefits of this, or prestige, or they give things for people to be pleased with what they're doing. And many, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. This is what human beings should do, and should go out in the morning and work and everything. But is that the purpose of our life? Just to do this and then what? Nothing after that? Just to enjoy their life and to have the weekend to relax and to have fun? This is not really what the purpose of life is. So when people are, why did I even mention this example? I don't know. When the Jannah has been covered by the dislikes and the hellfire is covered by the desires and so on, when these people are doing this, right? For me, it's difficult because it's something that is new to me, right? I'm used to, there's no traffic whatsoever where I come from. But for these people, they're fine and not panicking or angry or anything. This is something that they get used to it, right? And this is the same thing with everything in human beings. In the beginning, like if a person is used to sleep all day, but then he got this nice job that would give him a good pay, but it has to be from the early morning. In the few days in the beginning, it will be very difficult, and headaches and all kinds of things. He's not used to this, but he would make sure that he would never be late. After some time, it becomes the norm of his life, because he adjusted his life and his schedule and everything. Actually, he would have the headaches if he changed that later afterwards. So this is something in the human being. We know that in ourselves, that human beings, they have the ability by the will of Allah to adjust to a great extent. And how about the perfect way of life, which is the way of the Prophet ﷺ? So for someone to say, I can't adjust, no, it's anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered. The way of the Prophet ﷺ is in our capacity for sure, definitely. Unless a person is physically disabled, that's something else. But it needs, as everything else, in the beginning, patience, yes, struggle, yes, seeking the rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After some time, it becomes the norm. And it becomes the joy of one's life. If he misses it, he would feel terrible. If a person is used to make Salatul Fajr, for example, on time, it's going to be difficult in the beginning. After some time, this is the joy of his life. If a person is attached so much to one thing or other that is haram or so, a person is used to music so much, he can't live without it, right? If he decided to leave it for the sake of Allah, right? Yes, it's going to be difficult in the beginning. Nobody ever said that it's going to be from day one, it's just a joyful thing. No, it will be difficult and the person will be tempted. But whoever leaves something for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will replace it by something better. But what makes a person might continue in his misery, if he leaves something like this, but he does not change his whole entire life. It makes it difficult actually. Why? Because the sins will bring the person back. But if he leaves it for the sake of Allah and be steadfast on the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so on, after some time it becomes the norm. He will hate it so much if he hears something that he used to enjoy before. So this is by the mercy of Allah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows our weaknesses. So the point is that we need to, a person makes a decision that he would do what is right, he would follow the way of the Prophet ﷺ, and having the good expectations in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that things will be easy for us if we follow the way of the Prophet ﷺ. And as we heard in Jumu'ah, it's all just the first step or the second step. Just do what we have the capacity of doing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide us, will aid the person to do what is right. But to think from the start that the matter is overwhelming, that's how many people, they don't take the first step. Even for many of those who are non-Muslims. Many of them, if you talk to them about the Tawheed, they have no argument with this whatsoever. They submit themselves to this meaning, to this belief. But in their minds, in the whispers of shaitan, that means they have to leave many things that they like, they have to adapt to another way of life and so on. So the shaitan makes it difficult for them. But if a person put his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and take the matter one step after another, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will change his life. So this is how we should change our life, by following the way of the Prophet ﷺ and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help and seeking the rewards of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it easy for us. So following the way of the Prophet ﷺ. And if we talk about the examples, there are many, of course, and you probably heard many times. I want to keep on repeating these incidences more and more, but there are many of them. And this is the life of the Sahabah radiallahu anhu. Once they know, the matter is finished. Whether it's they had the love of the deen so much that they would tend to do extreme acts, and the Prophet ﷺ would correct them, and they would return from that, or if a person was doing something haram, and the wahy comes down, it wasn't haram then because there's no wahy came down, there's no revelation came down to forbid them from doing it. And once the wahy comes down, the matter did not even, no chance whatsoever. Like the story of how the khamr intoxications were forbidden, when they would drink day and night. And this is something, yes, it came gradually, but they would still drink. And when the ayat of the Quran came down, and Anas radiallahu anhu, he mentioned where he was sitting, and he was giving people to drink even at the house of Talha, the husband of his mother, Sulaym, and the people were sitting drinking. And a man walked in and he said that I just came from the Prophet ﷺ and the khamr has been forbidden. It's an immediate response. No such a thing, let's just finish this party first, or let's talk about it tomorrow, or start the new month, or next year, or let's finish what we have, right? Or let us even go ask the Prophet ﷺ, maybe this man didn't understand very well, or let's wait for 10 people to come and tell us because there's only one person, or it's not as a level of the Quran of authenticity like some people say. It's just one person, one man. They took his words and that was it. The one that had a glass of wine in his hand, he threw it. The one that has some in his mouth, he didn't even swallow it, he spat it out immediately. And the Medina was said to be rivers of flowing of all of these things being poured. This is wealth and money. Immediate response, because this is what in the hearts that they had this submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they knew better, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's good for them. Rafi' ibn Khadija radiallahu anhu, he said something that a person might have in his mind, but there's some benefit in these things, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even mentioned in the Quran about the khamr and the maisir, that has some manafi', some benefits to some people, yes, but the evil is far more. So nobody is to take this as an evidence, well, I'm just getting the benefit out of it. No, it's haram, it's haram. It's haram for everyone. It doesn't matter whether it's for cure of some disease. There's no cure in anything from any disease, in something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made haram for us. By the statement of the Prophet ﷺ. Whether a person has this business and he makes a lot of money and he built masajid, or this is all haram.